Good day and welcome to the Japan Gold presentation. I'm John Proust, Chairman and CEO. My presentation will include some forward-looking statements. Japan Gold is the first mover into Japan based on a 2012 change in the mining law, which allowed foreign companies to come into Japan and hold prospecting rights or mining rights. As part of our first mover advantage, we were able to gain access to the full Japanese government database and study 64 closed mines that were closed in the Second World War in 1943 by the government and never reopened. In addition, we were able to provide significant input to Japan in terms of how to build a globally competitive permitting system. And after 2 years of this preliminary work, Japan Gold was able to acquire over 30 gold projects. So we now have a portfolio of 31 projects that cover in excess of 40 historic gold mines in the country. We were very fortunate that in February of this year, we struck a countrywide strategic alliance with Barrick Gold that covers 29 out of our 31 projects, and it's being sole funded by Barrick. We have significant shareholders, which I'll review with you in a moment. And we have a very strong management team, a board of directors and management team with extensive experience in Japan and a track record of identifying new mining opportunities and putting them into production. Our share structure is as follows. Newmont holds a 13% stake in our company. We have institutional shareholders that hold a 34% stake, and those include BlackRock, RCF, a number of institutional investors from New York, London, Asia, and Australia. Management also owns a 23% stake in the company, and we have a public float of 30%. Our current market cap is approximately 60 million Canadian dollars or 45 million US dollars. Our countrywide alliance with Barrick is an important alliance, and it's got some very unique terms to it. One of the first items is that we have the freedom to put out information as the junior participant in this alliance as it relates to the alliance activities or results, etc. So we have the ability to really keep our investors informed in terms of our activities. Secondly, Barrick has the Barrick Alliance has a very short 2-year timetable to evaluate all 29 projects. And so that is actively underway, and I'll speak about that. If Barrick identifies any new opportunities, those will be introduced to the alliance. If Japan Gold identifies any new opportunities, they come to the alliance as well. We exclude 2 projects because Newmont has a joint venture right of first refusal on those 2 projects. And we currently hold those projects 100%, but if we do want to seek out a joint venture, we would go to Newmont first. The initial 2-year phase is underway actively right now, as I mentioned. And basically within that period of time, Barrick has to make a decision on whether they want to go ahead with a project or whether they want to not go ahead with a project if it does not meet their criteria. If a project doesn't meet their criteria, all the work that's been done and paid for by Barrick, all that work will be available for us to provide to other third parties who may be interested in advancing that project, or we can use that work ourselves to go forward. If Barrick is interested in earning an interest in a project, then Barrick has to complete a pre-feasibility study to get to 51% and a bankable feasibility study to get to 75%. So that means that Japan Gold is going to be fully free carried through a bankable feasibility study and retain a 25% interest in any project that Barrick elects to ultimately take to that level. As I mentioned, we currently have 31 projects in Japan that cover predominantly the key gold areas in the southern island of Kyushu. On this large central island of Honshu, we have one project that's a significant project, the Togi project, but by and large, the Honshu island is either densely populated with large urban centers, or the geologic setting is not right. There's too much volcanic cover. And then we're also very active in the northern island of Hokkaido. I'm going to take you to Kyushu first and review what we're doing there now. This is the island of Kyushu. There's two main gold provinces in Kyushu, and the most prolific gold province in Japan is the southern Kyushu epithermal gold province, where over 11 million ounces of gold have been produced to date. From 4 past producing mines and from the currently producing Hishikari gold mine. The Hishikari gold mine was discovered in 1981 by the government on some Sumitomo metal mining ground. Went into production in Sumitomo metal mining, took it into production in 1985, and it's produced approximately 8 million ounces to date, between 30 and 40 grams per ton. And there are significant reserves remaining. So this is a very major tier 1 high-grade gold mine. Mark Bristow, the CEO of Barrick, has actually flown to Japan to go tour that mine, and he understands the potential of the country. And that's one of the things that really has propelled the Barrick Alliance. In this red area, that's the low sulfidation epithermal gold mining area that I referred to, that's produced the 11 million ounces of gold. And the Hishikari mine is right in the center of it. Japan Gold currently holds approximately 80% of all prospective ground in this region. Looking at this region, the Hokusatsu region, all the projects in red are our Barrick Alliance projects. There's a project that's in light blue, which is our project which is outside the Barrick Alliance, and in which we've granted Newmont the joint venture right of first refusal. Also, Newmont, in an alliance with a new newer entrant into Japan, Irving Resources, has acquired 4 sets of prospecting rights recently, and has also optioned one of the past producing mines. There are 4 significant past producing mines, and then you can see the Hishikari mine is on the right-hand side of our slide, and is in the green outlined area. So that's the Sumitomo metal mining footprint. What we've done with the Barrick Alliance to date is 2 sets of evaluation. So if you took all 29 projects that we have and you put them together, that would be approximately 1,600 square kilometers. And so we're doing 2 things. One, we're doing geochemical analysis. So our teams are walking up all the streams and waterways. We're taking stream sediment samples and rock samples. We're assaying those for multiple elements, and then we're also blegging. So we're looking for bulk leach extractable gold, or we're looking for the base level of gold that exists in the prospect areas, and then we're identifying areas that are anomalous at higher grades of gold. The second process that we're going through is geophysics. So we're doing gravity across all 29 projects. We're looking for those structures that will be very prominent and important to making new discoveries. And so effectively, there will be a large data set of these 2 combined processes that will allow us to identify areas of anomalous gold that have corresponding structure. On this slide, all the areas that have the light red and dark red shading have been covered by the geochemistry already. So 8 out of 14 projects. Also, the 2 projects that are outlined in the dark red, those have also got not only the geophysics or geochemistry, but they've also got the geophysics. And so just recently, we've announced the results of that combined data set of geochemistry and geophysics. And we've identified a number of anomalous gold areas that have very good structure and that are quite analogous to the setting of the Hishikari gold mine. Also, as I mentioned on our previous slide, there's one project outside the Alliance. This is a project that's 10 kilometers from the southwest to the northeast. It covers a trend that has 5 high-grade gold mines that were all past producers that were closed by the government in 1943. Newmont has a technical committee with us over this project and a second project up in Hokkaido. And we've done all the preliminary work, the mapping, the geology, the geochemistry, the geophysics, major soil sampling grids, spectral analysis, which have given us a very strong indication of how prospective this area is. And currently now we're drilling 1 test hole under the Arushi mine, and we're about to drill a 2nd test hole under the Ohra mine. Those results for the Arushi mine will come out in November. And we're very much looking forward to seeing how these prospects develop. I'm now moving you up to Hokkaido, to the North Island, to the northern, you can see with the onset or the inset picture here, to the northeastern area of Hokkaido. This is the major gold province in Hokkaido. And we have a number of projects in this area with the Barrick Alliance that are outlined in red. The one project that's outlined in light blue is our project that's outside the Alliance that has the relationship with Newmont. And then for those of you that are familiar with the newer entrance into Japan, Irving Resources, their feature project, the Omu project, is up here in the northwest area. And it coincides with our Sanru project. And a lot of the key prospective drilling and features in the Omu project are situated at the southern end of that property. Certainly, Irving has identified a gold-bearing system, which has propelled their market capitalization to over $180 million, or 3 times the Japan gold market capitalization. But we, as you can see by our cross-hatching, have already completed the geochemistry with our Barrick Alliance across our project, the Sanru project, and we see very good-looking early results here. And also, we see sort of a series of parallel structures that run right down to the southeast of this property. So we're currently doing the geochemistry across the whole portfolio in this area. And I will point out that just in this last week, we were fortunate with the Barrick Alliance to acquire our 31st project, which is a project called Kanahana, and it's immediately adjacent to the project that we have outside the Alliance with Newmont. So it's a very compelling area in that the Kanahana project covers 7 past producing mines, and the Ikutahara project covers 20 past producing mines. Looking at the Ikutahara project outside the Barrick Alliance, it covers, as I mentioned, 20 past producing mines, and there are 2 prospects that are very advanced now. One is the Rio prospect, which we're hoping to get drill permits very shortly here and commence drilling on. And another large area that we've identified 8 mines in this large area that is 6 kilometers north to south and about 4 to 5 kilometers east-west, that we've identified that all 8 mines are all part of the same large system here. So it's a compelling system that we are scout drilling, or have scout drilled in the past and are waiting for additional drill permits now, and are advancing with everything from ridge and spur soil sampling to additional geophysics in the north. I just want to take you to the Rio prospect because that's the prospect we're hoping to get the drill permits on soon. Here's a cross-section from 1943 that shows the Rio mine as it looked then. There was mining on 6 levels until the government came by and took the workers away to move them into the other alternatives, the base metal mines and the steel factories to support the war. After the war in 1951, Sumitomo entered the mine, and they did significant chip sampling off the roofs or the backs of the tunnels or the adits. And there were some very remarkable results. In this one level 4, you'll see that 72 meters averaged over 40 grams per ton in the sampling that they did. The mine collapsed after their sampling, ultimately, and so we've done all the evaluation that we could, right up to the point where we're going to be getting our drill permits to drill right through the guts of the mine and then look for depth extensions and parallel structures. What I will mention is that our work programs are very aggressive this year, even through the pandemic. We've been very fortunate to have strong teams in country of geologists, field assistants, and we've been able to identify Japanese contractors to do geophysics for us, like Sumitomo and JX Nippon. And we've been very fortunate to advance there. So in 2020, our work program is as follows. The Barrick Alliance, we're moving along aggressively to complete our exploration of the 29 projects with the 2 formats that I mentioned. And we're well on track to do that. We're reporting to the market about every 4 to 6 weeks on the progress that we're making in terms of the coverage. And then as we see the information coming in, the results from that geophysics and the geochemistry, we'll be reporting, as we've just done recently, on any exciting and new developments. And so we think we've got a lot of interesting news to come here. On our project that's down in Kyushu, we've done all that preliminary work and our drill program is underway. We'll be reporting in November. On our project up in Hokkaido, we're waiting for drill permits to come through now, and we're looking forward to aggressively drilling the Rio prospect and then advancing the other areas with new drill permitting there so that we can get into those drill permits as well. In conclusion, Japan Gold is a very unique company. We've been very fortunate to move into one of the safest geopolitically safe countries in the world, Japan. As first mover, we've been able to assemble a compelling portfolio of over 30 projects. So we have 31 projects now. We've been able to attract the two largest gold miners in the world, with Barrick and Newmont both being actively involved with us. We've built a fully functional team in Japan of geologists, field assistants, and with our own drilling division there as well as permitting, a permitting group, etc. So we've been really able to establish ourselves in country and advance our opportunities. The Barrick Alliance is fully funding the evaluation and advancement of 29 projects. Japan Gold is funding the advancement on the 2 projects outside the Alliance currently, and we have the opportunity to seek joint ventures on those 2 projects as we feel it's warranted. We currently have $5 million in our treasury, so we're well funded, and we have the team capable, as I mentioned, of doing all the work necessary. So I would really invite you to go to our website, japangold.com. A more fulsome PowerPoint presentation is highlighted there. And thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, you'll certainly find contact details on our website as well. And I look forward to either speaking with you at the conference or speaking with you in the near future to describe Japan Gold and our activities. Thank you for your attendance.